guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about what it's like being a young female working in investment banking on Wall Street. In a lot of Hollywood television shows and movies, you'll often see a very male-dominated cast. That cast is usually white, young to middle-aged, and so these Hollywood shows tend to show investment banking from a very senior level. But underneath all of that, there's so many more junior people. And so my experience is on that junior level. On the analyst class, which is the most junior class in investment banking, the ratio of males to females is actually pretty even. It's about 50-50, maybe 60-40, depending on the bank and the group that you're in. And this is because a lot of investment banks have been doing programs such as women's programs, LGBTQ, veterans programs, in order to form a more diverse junior population. It's only as you rise up the ranks that this really becomes more of a problem. On the associate level, which is about 3 years above an analyst level, I'd say the number of females to males there are is about maybe 20-30% female and the rest male. And as you continue to rise up to VP and so on, it's even less. Once you get to the managing director level, there's maybe about a single-digit percentage of managing directors who are actually female. With that said, how do you succeed as a female in a largely traditionally male-dominated role, especially as you continue to rise up the ranks? Tip number one, if you think that you are being too assertive, you're not. I want to talk a little bit about the difference between being assertive and being aggressive. There are a lot of times when I thought that I was being too aggressive, when in reality, I was being underwhelmingly so. In investment banking and finance and a lot of male-dominated industries in general, there's becomes this norm of male aggression. It's seen as normal or more normal when a male is aggressive versus when a female is aggressive. Being aggressive means that you're making your own stand and opinion without a regard for anyone else's, and being assertive means that you're making your own stand and opinion and explaining why while still listening to those of others. And men tend to veer towards one end, being either more assertive or more aggressive, and women tend to veer towards the other end of being less assertive or less aggressive. What I've learned is that there's no shame in being assertive. You should make your opinion, you should stand for your opinion, explain why to other people, but also be open to what others say. You have to be able to find the right balance. Lesson number two that I've learned, find ways to differentiate yourself for the better. Especially in industries where it's very male dominated, you already stand out as a female. I remember when I was going for super days for investment banking, a lot of the times, all of the other candidates would actually be male and I would be the only or one of two females in the room. You already stand out because of your gender, so why not make it a positive differentiator? Be yourself, be the best version of yourself, and as a result, you're going to stand out even more and for the better. When you're the only person in the room who's female, who's interviewing for a position, people want to help you. Really take advantage of that, be confident, be smart, and just be yourself. Lesson number three, don't let people talk over you. If you watch the US presidential debate, if you didn't, Google it, look it up, search up the presidential debate, and specifically look at the debate between Vice President Harris and Pence. During that debate, Vice President Harris came out with a new catchphrase, and that catchphrase is, "Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking." She said that a total of 10 times during the debate because of the number of times that Pence interrupted her. I know men do this to each other as well. I mean, just look at the debate between Trump and Biden and you'll see the aggressive tactics that are used. But I remember watching that myself and just remembering how familiar that felt. That's happened to me and basically happens to many women across meeting rooms throughout the United States and throughout the world. Men are often socialized in order to display dominance in competitive, public situations. So a way of showing power is to interrupt someone, but this is at the other person's expense. Some of the tips that I found in order to avoid this issue is to just speak in a strong tone, in a way where it feels jarring for someone to interrupt you in the middle of it. Another method is to just keep speaking when someone interrupts you. Intensify your voice. It might seem rude, but if you think about it, they're the one who's interrupting you. They're the one who's talking over you and not vice versa. Tip number 4, sound confident. Now this sounds easy to say, but how do you do it? What you say is important, but it's also how people hear it, and sometimes that can be even more important, unfortunately. I found that myself and other women have a different way of communicating that can sometimes undermine what they're actually saying. A woman might say, I think we should be able to reevaluate this approach maybe, whereas a male might just say, we should reevaluate this approach. Do you see the difference? One conveys a sense of being unsure of themselves, and one conveys a very firm, confident phrase. Women are oftentimes more likely than men to say phrases like I think or I feel like, maybe, perhaps. That tends to undermine their credibility and make them seem unsure. One of the techniques that AOC uses that I really like is the idea of taking up space. The idea behind it is that you're in a meeting room, there's 30 other people there, all really senior and in really powerful positions. You feel small, but you need to think in your head that you're taking up space. AOC talks about how she stands at home with her arms wide and thinks to herself, take up space, I need to take up more space. By taking up more space in a meeting room and feeling more confident and powerful that you're there, you're present, you're important, there's a reason why you're there, then that makes you feel a lot more confident. And last, my final tip, this is for all the fashionistas out there who don't want to give up their regular fashionable wardrobe for a mundane, boring work wardrobe. When I first entered investment banking, I thought that I would have to wear my same set of interview clothes every single day, and that meant black pants or skirt and a white button-up top with a blazer. And that is not true at all. The world of women's work clothing is vast, and you'd be surprised with what you can wear to work. Of course, you have to wear modest clothing, but in terms of different types of fabrics, patterns, colors, different types of clothes, there's tons out there, and you can really form a wardrobe that fits your own style and that you'll love wearing every single morning. I recently watched a video by AOC on Vogue where she shares her everyday routine, and I quote, she says, femininity has power. She talks about how there's a lot of criticism and nitpicking about what women wear, what kind of makeup they have. They're wearing too much makeup, too little makeup. There's this really false idea that if you care about makeup, if you care about clothes, that you're frivolous and that you're naive. However, she talks about how these are some of the most substantive decisions that people make every morning, and that putting on her bold red lip every day makes her feel confident. That's the same as me. I'm someone who is interested in fashion and beauty. I don't think that there has to be a clear-cut line between that and work. You can find ways to make them work. And so guys, that wraps up my video on what it's like to be a woman in finance and some of the lessons that I learned along the way. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you guys have any other questions for me, I'd love to hear it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell to turn on notifications so you know whenever I post a new video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!